All right, welcome. Thank you for joining me. So today we're going to just do a brief introduction to Tai Chi walking because that's what I was teaching in class tonight, and I figured it was as good a time as any to start on giving you that information for this channel. So there is a lot of people talking about Tai Chi walking these days. I'm sure you've seen ads all over your feeds as I have. No, Tai Chi does not build the kind of musculature that dude has. And he's very, very careful in what he says and how he phrases things. So take that for what you will. There's plenty of people talking about Tai Chi walking other than that really buff Asian dude, and they've all got sort of different versions of what Tai Chi walking is. I have mine and I will share it with you here. My version of Tai Chi walking is the Tai Chi you walk out of class with, i.e. how many of the things that you learn in Tai Chi, how many of the movement principles and structure principles are you able to just incorporate into your daily life? And that can be going for a walk. It can also mean reaching something off of a high shelf. Are you lifting your arm up to grab it? Or are you doing it in a Tai Chi way and being extremely lazy and just letting your shoulder blade fall? In terms of walking, though, there is something called the Tai Chi walk, or Tai Chi steps. Believe me, you're not going to want to take those down the street, or if you do, people are going to look at you pretty funny. But we can take a lot of the movement principles from a Tai Chi walk into just our daily lives. The number one thing that I would probably try and incorporate to do a Tai Chi walk would be to keep that same sort of awareness, spatial awareness, alignment, feeling that there's a string coming out of the top of our head, or there's a light energy at the top of our head, or however we want to think of that. Basically, head up, head floating up, right? And everything below that point, the highest point on our body, is hanging down off of that. So we've got one point that is going up, everything else is hanging down. That's the first thing that I would take into my walk. You know, just going for a walk, out and about, throughout my day, try and keep my head up. Don't do this. Don't spend a lot of time doing this. Head up. Next, breath relaxed. So breathe in, breathe out. Don't worry too much about it. Keep it just smooth, slow, relaxed. Check in with your breath. Do you find that you're breathing a little harder than maybe you need to? Or is your in-breath a lot shorter than your out-breath? Can you sort of equalize those? Just check in with your breath and see, is it a little more ragged or rough or anything than it typically needs to be? Can I smooth it out a little bit? So take those two movement principles, up tall through the top of the head, and a nice relaxed breath. Beyond that, bend your knees. Okay? Don't walk around with straight legs. Just bend your knees, sink yourself down about an inch, a few centimeters. Okay? Don't walk up here, just bend your knees. Make sure you've got a little bit of a shock absorption sort of thing going on. Our legs are meant to be shock absorbers, and we're not meant to really be slamming our feet into the ground and basically giving ourselves little car accidents with every step. One of my very favorite teachers used to say that, probably still does say, the way we tend to walk now is a series of controlled falls, i.e. if I want to cross the room over there, the first thing I do is I lead with my head. My head wants to go there, so I go, Then I got to stick out my foot to try and catch myself. Or slightly better, but still bad, would be to lead with the chest. So like, oh, I'm going over there. Right? Doing that sort of thing. But you find your feet get really slappy and loud really quickly, and over time you just sort of get that thing where you're just always sort of. In Tai Chi, we want to walk as smoothly as possible. One of the ways we like to check that is if you get a mirror or you get to film yourself, or get a teacher to check. What they're going to be looking for is my head bobbing up and down or bouncing or tipping or any of that sort of stuff? Is there rough motion going on there? So I could just walk sort of, and you see it just. Or if I Tai Chi walk, i.e. tall to the top of my head, my breath is relaxed, I bend my knees, I sink down a little bit, and then I lead with my legs rather than my head or my chest. I let my legs go first, and I can move much smoother. So you see my head isn't really bobbing up and down. It isn't really changing height. And in order to do that, I just have to let the shock absorbers work, i.e. my legs. And the way I get my legs to work is I bend them. My favorite tip that I like to give to everybody is basically, if you really want to get into this and just make it habitual so that you can't not Tai Chi walk, is walk quietly everywhere, all the time. Be as sneaky as possible. As human beings, we are not the best equipped in terms of claws and fangs to to fight off wild things that are bigger and toothier and fangier and clawier than we are. The best defense we have against them is to not let them know we are there. And we're pretty good at that. We can be very, very, very quiet, pretty instinctually. And if you think, I'm going to sneak up on someone, what are the things you're going to do? Well, first thing is, you're just going to get a little bit lower, right? You're going to bend your knees. Your center's going to go down a little bit, kind of like we do in Tai Chi, right? And you're going to walk softly, kind of like we do in Tai Chi. Our legs are going to go forward first, and we're going to be smooth. We're not going to cause any disturbances, any rustling. We're just going to be sneaky, 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 sneaky. Then we dance, right? So that is my favorite way of incorporating Tai Chi walking. Just walk quietly, absolutely everywhere. It has become such a habit for me now that it drives my wife insane. She never knows when I'm in the room with her. Personally, I think she should kind of expect it. We've been married for a while. She should know she lives with someone, and I could be in the room. But she just doesn't know because I don't make a lot of noise, ever. It's just, I'm always working that shock absorber. So that's the first lesson, really, the intro for Tai Chi walking, is don't worry too much about it, number one. Number two, it's just really about taking movement principles into our daily lives. Head up, relaxed breath, maybe sink down an inch, sort of thing, bend our knees, try and lead with our feet, try not to take a lot of shocks, and just try and walk nice and smooth. Honestly, that's what you probably want most from a Tai Chi walk. You don't want to be doing a Tai Chi walk Because if you try doing this down the street, people are going to look at you kind of funny. But you can still do the major things from that Tai Chi walk just out in your day-to-day life. Tall through the top of the head, relax breath, bend your knees, lead with your legs, and try and relax. But for part 2, we're going to come back and we're going to show you how to do that walk, which is mainly a Yang style Tai Chi walk. There are other ones from other styles, but this is the first one I like to teach, and we will be doing that in the next video. So thank you very much for joining me. Go for a walk and try not to look too weird about it. And if I didn't make it absolutely clear, that you're not going to build mad muscles doing Tai Chi. Honestly, just Google Tai Chi master images and no one looks like that dude. It's great for a lot of things, but that's not one of them.